Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta. We're going to be doing this hymn, Rise Up, O Flame, not just now, but throughout the service. So once you learn it, you're going to sing it a whole bunch of times. It's not very long. You'll get it. Please rise in body or in spirit. It goes like this. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. This repeats. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Here's another one. This is Woyaya. It's also in 3. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Start soft. Oh yeah, yeah. 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 Nice.
Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta, where we come together in person and online. Welcome to you out there to transform lives through courageous action and soulful connection. And we are doing that today and all days in every way. We welcome you into this house for the human spirit, you who celebrate Hanukkah, Advent, Kwanzaa, winter solstice, or Christmas. We trust your discernment of what is true and the source of your faith. Here at UUCA, we celebrate and uplift you, your age, your youth, your cultural experience, your sexuality, your gender expression, all of who you are is welcomed here. And today, I want you to know the congregation will gather on Zoom at 1:30 p.m. for a congregational meeting, all congregation meeting to pass the budget for 2025. We need all of us to make this community thrive, and so we hope you will be there on Zoom. We are up to some very exciting projects. We are making some great moves, and we're excited to share that with you at the congregational meeting. And you should also know there is still time, a little bit of time. The window is closing, to make your pledge for 2025. if you know that this beloved congregation is going to be a part of your survival plan through 2025 and beyond, and maybe even your plan not just to survive, but to thrive, amen? Then we hope you will come along with us. We hope you will be with us come what may. And so we will need you to go ahead and make your pledge for 2025. You can go to uuca.org/pledge. You can go there right now, or you can go there right after the service. And I know there will be folks around available in the social hall to help you make your pledge to keep this congregation steady, but also thriving, growing, and expanding its ministries into next year. And I have a personal invitation from me to you. If you are free next Saturday, December 21st, I'd like to invite you to a special lecture I am giving at the High Museum of Art. Ooh. Okay, yeah. As part of, I like that. As part of their Oasis program, the High invites faith leaders across the city to give a talk exploring a particular piece of art. And I have chosen a work of art I am so excited about. I cannot wait to do this. And yes, it is right in the middle of the Giants exhibit from the personal collection of Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz. So if you have not seen Giants yet, this is the perfect moment. If you have not seen the incredible Georgia O'Keeffe exhibit that is also at the High, this is a moment. So please come on down to the High Museum next Saturday, December 21st at noon. This program begins right at noon, right smack in the middle of the Giants exhibits. I am going to present some new ways to engage with the arts that will be new to folks who don't know about us, Unitarian Universalists, but may feel familiar to you. So please consider dropping by the High next Saturday, December 21st at noon. I hope to see you there. Today, we will hear 3 stories from members of our congregation. Stories of folks who have pulled themselves up out of an abyss, or pulled themselves back from the brink of despair, and are here to answer the question, the burning question that I always have for any of you resilient souls. How did they do it? I believe the stories we share here and in community are salvific, by which I mean when we share our personal stories of survival, they can save our lives. They can save maybe your life. Anne VanWitsen, Jason Delaney, and Dana Taylor will share deeply this morning from their own lives. We are honored to receive this precious gift of their powerful vulnerability today. These are indeed the shortest days, and so it's a good time to discover how we might light the way for one another. And speaking of lighting the way, I would like to invite Mira Shate, Senior Youth, to light our chalice this morning. Please join me in this morning's chalice lighting words. May the light of this flame illuminate our tradition of seeking, invite all who yearn for acceptance, and ignite our passion for justice and peace.
Is A Lamp for in Every Corner by Janine K. Grossmeyer. Many years ago, in the land of Transylvania, in a mountain valley watered by quick rushing streams, there was a village of small wooden houses. The people in the village were of the Unitarian religion, and they wanted a church of their own, set on a hillside, looking down upon the village as a mother looks down upon her sleeping child. So all the people of the village labored long and hard to build themselves a church. The stonemasons cut great blocks of gray stone, then set the stones into stout and sturdy walls. The foresters sawed tall beech trees into enormous beams and laid the trusses for the ceiling, then covered the roof with close-fitting wooden shingles that wouldn't leak a drop of rain. A bell was brought from a faraway city, then hoisted by ropes to the top of the tower. The weavers wove fine cloths for the altar table. The smiths hammered black iron into tall lampstands and hammered thin bronze into shining oil lamps. When their church was finally done, all the people of the village stood back to admire it. "We will eat now," announced an elder of the village, "and later tonight we will come back to pray." So the people of the village went down the hillside to their homes, all except for one little girl named Zora and her father. They had brought their own bread and cheese. They ate their food slowly, sitting on the grass and admiring their new church. After they had eaten, they went back into the glorious sanctuary. Zora stopped in the center and twirled slowly around. "See how grand!" "Yes, it is," said her father, looking around and nodding with pride. "But Father," she said suddenly, "we have not finished." "What do you mean?" "There are tall iron lampstands all along the walls, but there are no lamps. The church will be dark when the people come back." "Ah, no, little one. The light of the church comes from its people. You shall see." He rang the bell to call the people to worship, then took his daughter by the hand and led her back outside. They waited on the grassy hillside next to their beautiful church. The sun had set behind the mountains, and it would be dark soon. Yet, in the growing darkness, tiny points of light came from many directions, moving steadily up the hill. "Each family is entrusted with a lamp, little one," her father explained. "Each family lights its own way here." "Where is our family's lamp?" "Your mother is carrying it. She will be here soon." The many lights moved closer together, gathering into one moving stream, all headed the same way, growing larger and brighter. Zora's mother arrived, bearing a burning oil lamp in her hands. The father lifted Zora so she could set the family lamp high on its tall iron stand. All around the church, other families were doing the same. Soon, the church was ablaze with light in every corner. All through the worship services, Zora watched the lights flicker and glow. She watched her family's lamp most of all. When the service was over, her father lifted her high. She took the shining bronze lamp from the lampstand, and her mother carried the lamp home with the flame lighting the way. The lamp flame lit their house when they returned home. "Mother," Zora began as she climbed into bed. "Yes, little one," tucking the red wool blanket around Zora's shoulders. Father said the light of the church comes from its people. Yes, but also the people take their light from the church. Over on the table by the fireplace, the shiny bronze lamp was still burning. And we have that light every day. Yes, indeed, said her mother. And even when we are not in church, even when the lamp is not lit, we carry the light of truth in our minds and the flame of love in our hearts to show us the right way to be. That light, the light from truth and love, will never go out. Then she kissed Zora goodnight. Zora closed her eyes and drifted into dreams while her mother looked down upon her sleeping child. And always, the light of truth and the flame of love from that Unitarian church on the hillside continued to grow and show them and us the way.
I want to invite the Highness Shade family to come join me in this morning's movement prayer. And I would like to invite all of you to rise as you are willing and able in body or spirit. First, we bow to honor the Spirit of life. We lift our arms and embrace the gifts of spirits. We bring these gifts unto ourselves with gratitude and breathe and smile. We share the gifts of spirit with the world. With a very soft clap, we remember to be present, honor, embrace, gratitude, share, be present. Amen. At this time, we would like to invite our children, 3rd grade and under, to exit and join the preschool class or their creative workshop this morning. Please note the location for these is just down the hall on the 1st floor. As our children recess, please take a moment to turn and greet your neighbor. Welcome them into this space, someone you have not met especially.
Just happy to invite my friends Douglas Escobar and Naomi Hill here to make music for us this morning. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
Everyone knows firsthand that life is messy and painful, beautiful, and unpredictable. The endless practice is keeping our heart open to the whole of it. On February 22nd, 2017, my husband of 50 years died. Gary was my best friend, the father of our children, the one who encouraged and comforted me. We were a musical duo for 30 years, co-therapists for 20 years, a creative team producing video and audio recordings. He was gone, and I felt my life was also gone. When I wasn't sobbing, my angry voice said, "Give me my life back." I had never lived alone, played solo, or unstuck a car in 3 feet of snow. I had a lot to learn. While wrestling with the thought that my husband was lost, like a child in a blizzard, actually, I was the one who was lost, desperately searching for the answer to the complexity of death. How could a person be physically here in a moment and then be gone? Gone where? Oh, I hear I have small ears. Okay, Jeep has been very patient with me. And I didn't know I had this disability, actually. I have learned how to ask for help. All right. I had no idea how to deal with the pain of this loss, how to begin a new life, how to build a new world. Would this pain ever go away? Journaling had been a good part of my life, and so I decided to journal every day, the first day after his death. That way, I could look back, and I could see that I was progressing, that I was finding my way out of the despair. Having been a hospice volunteer, I knew I needed to accept my own unique grieving process, to be kind and patient with myself. But where to begin the healing that I so desperately needed, I just couldn't think or even function. Being aware of this, my grief counselor from hospice gave me some advice. She said, ask yourself, what do I need or want in the next moment? Just the next minute, not the next day or week or year, just the next minute. That minute is where the healing begins. So how could I stay in that minute? I was so tired from my grieving and had so little energy. I was wasting that low energy with longing and yearning for the past or fearing the future. Because of that, there was no energy left for facing the here and now, the next minute. The key for healing is the willingness to stay in that moment, even if it felt terribly sad. To have the great courage to experience the pain in that moment and to trust that I was in process and I would not always feel that badly. It's so important that the journey through grief, you need to know it's life-changing. It's a time of transformation, a time when we will evolve. The grief journey has much to teach us if we're willing to trust the process. Until we experience a loss, we have no idea how strong we are. We don't realize how resilient and adaptive we are. A broken heart also sees the world differently. When we experience deep hurt, our capacity for compassion grows. In the beginning for me, there was only the pain. Totally exhausted and numb with the endless sobbing and raging, I yearned to feel peace again, to feel restored. Finally, a tiny little voice came to me in that lonely space. It begged me to remember joy, and I craved it. But how could I find that joy again? A year after Gary died, a conversation helped me discover the source of the healing power for me, the healing power of that joy. On a gloomy, wintry evening, a friend of mine was sitting with me in my living room. The wood-burning stove wrapped us in peaceful warmth. She compassionately listened to me, as she had so many times. Gently interrupting me, she said, "You were so blessed to have those 50 years with Gary. Some people never have that kind of love, that amazing creative life you had together. Can you feel grateful for what you had instead of the sharp pain of the loss?" She stood up, lovingly hugged me, and left. Looking into the fire, something had shifted inside me. Gary's breath would never again create a tune in his Irish whistles. His love was still here, but his physical presence was gone. I was here. I hadn't touched my harp since his death. Moving to it, I placed my fingers on the strings and tentatively began to play alone. Vibrations of healing music flowed into my broken heart, and grief tenderly spilled into gratitude. Tears of sorrow and joy intermingled. I had finally found the place where I could revisit a memory, and the pain was smaller than the gratitude. The pain was smaller than the gratitude. And gratitude lights the path to joy.
Like sunshine goes everywhere, its temple space, its shrine the good heart, its creed all truth, its ritual works of love. Be ours a religion which like sunshine goes everywhere, its temple space, its shrine the good heart, its creed all truth, its ritual works of love.
Let us put hands on hearts, feel the heartbeat, connection to life. Breathe in peace. Breathe out love. Say to yourself silently, I will love myself. I will love others. And this love can heal the world. We send our love outward and celebrate with UUCA member Natalie Snedden, who this week received the Extra Mile Award from Frontline Atlanta, an organization who works with unhoused folks, who has recognized Natalie's incredible dedication and volunteer leadership to serve unhoused communities in Atlanta. We celebrate with Natalie Snedden and her family. There is someone who you bring with you who is on your heart this morning. Someone who is struggling or suffering or ill or lonely. Or someone you just wish to lift up. Please write their name into the live chat or speak their name out loud into this holy space now. May all people find connection. May all beings find comfort. May all of us find more ways to be more loving. Spirit of life, love eternal, we rest in holy gratitude. We surrender to a mystery beyond ourselves, asking forgiveness for our mistakes, those times when we have been selfish or thoughtless, breathing in and out. We offer and receive grace. We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. Now, let us calm our bodies and our minds. We breathe in deeply and exhale. We relax into this space that our intentions make sacred. We enter into the silence.
Be ours our religion, which like sunshine goes everywhere, be its temple or space, its shrine the good heart, its creed all truth, its ritual works of love. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
I remember sitting in a parked car, the snow falling around us on the side of some rural Pennsylvania road, Cheryl sitting next to me as I sobbed in the passenger seat, terrified to face my family on Christmas Eve, 2002. I remember coming home from the police station, driven home by a housemate I barely knew in the early hours of the morning in October of 2000. I remember the summer of 1999, sitting on an exam table at my childhood pediatrician's office. The nurse practitioner asked me some real honest questions about how things were going. My parents sitting, anxious in the room. I answered, and I couldn't look them in the eyes. I remember the feeling of handcuffs on my wrists, way harder, more rigid than I would have imagined. How it was impossible to get comfortable in the hard plastic chair that I was cuffed to. waiting after I had just called my mom in the middle of the night, asking her to come get me from jail, her oldest son. I remember every day waking up, realizing that I had slept through class, sometimes hungover, sometimes still hallucinating from the night before. I remember learning what academic probation meant after I finished my freshman year with a 1.4 GPA. I spent a year at home, and not every night, but almost every night, I thought about how they would all be better off without me. As I wandered the dark and quiet house alone with my brother and my sister and my parents asleep upstairs, I thought that I was such a selfish coward because I couldn't stop making their lives worse. The vast majority of the worst moments of my life all happened in a 3-year time span. From my 17th birthday until about a month before I turned 20. And a good number of the people that I knew during that time didn't make it to 25. I got very, very lucky. My story is way, way simpler than a lot of people that I know. In May of 2000, I was fortunate enough to be sentenced to spend 30 days of court-mandated residential treatment at Pyramid Healthcare in Altoona, Pennsylvania. By the time I got there, I had started to turn things around in fits and starts. My counselor, Julie, helped me understand that I was just as capable of thinking myself into trouble, into justifications for choices that I would regret, as anything else. In every room, a sign, keep it simple, stupid. I spent 30 days in those rooms, learning that I didn't know nearly as much as I thought I did. I heard stories of men who had continued down a path that I was headed down, stories of boys who had endured unimaginable trauma. And I tried to comfort them in their grief and hold them accountable to their best selves. I made my bed every morning. I saw a guy that I knew well get sent directly to jail for a hard foul during basketball after lunch. I gave and I got a lot of hugs. I put on 10 pounds worth of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I got my depression under control, and I found God, and I lost God, and I said, "This too shall pass," under my breath, probably 2,000 or 3,000 times. I smoked a lot of Newports. When I got home, nothing had changed except my disposition, my way to be in the world. I learned how to show up to my life. It's still so hard to do sometimes, but I know what it looks like. I know what it looks like when you don't show up. And I learned what it looks like when you show up for yourself and when you show up for other people. The hardest part in the car on that rural Pennsylvania road, that Christmas Eve 22 years ago, the snow coming down, a year and a half out of rehab, the hardest part was that I knew that I was different, but no one else did yet. A reputation is a really hard thing to rebuild. And so I wept. And Cheryl got me coffee and a honey bun. And I took some deep breaths. And then I showed up. If there's nothing else that I can do, I can show up. That is the faith that I learned.
up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
A few weeks ago, we had some visitors come to Toco Hills Community Alliance for a tour. As we walked through and we observed the volunteers and staff working hard to sort and pack food, as they saw our neighbors come and receive their box that was full of healthy, free groceries, the visitors kept saying things like, "Everyone looks like they're enjoying themselves. There's just such a sense of joy here." Now, with the state of the world, it's been kind of hard for some of us to think about joy. And yet somehow at Toco Hills Community Alliance, we have found joy in serving and sharing. Even as we're working harder than ever, serving 750 families every week, triple the number we did 5 years ago. The joy we find here is an act of resistance against the fear and the violence running rampant right now. And what we do is about more than food. We share food and we share joy. Just as a single candle can light 1,000 others, each of us sharing ignites a spark of joy that positively impacts our neighbors who come for food and our entire neighborhood. We are so thankful for your support, through which you are sharing joy too, with the new immigrant who gets a hospitable welcome, and with the unhoused person who gets a meal, and so many other neighbors who come to us and we serve. And so today, may the offering be like a flame of a candle, steady, bright, filled with the warmth of joy that comes from giving. Together, let us light up the world. And now, the offering will be given and gratefully received.
Please join me in the dedication of our offering. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action we call community, we dedicate our lives, and these are offerings.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
In a dream, you saw a way to survive, and you were full of joy. In a dream, you saw a way to survive, and you were full of joy. The artist Jenny Holzer created this phrase as part of her survival series, in which she explored the dangers of everyday living. It is the everyday living, isn't it, that we struggle sometimes to get through, to make meaning of, and to maintain our balance in as we journey down the path of our days. In my own life, the tools that I have found that have helped me hold on to hope in the face of my challenges have sometimes felt as though they have come from some divine and ancient wisdom showing up in my dreams or in messages that I receive like magical gifts. More often than not, though, the tools in my coping kit have come from reaching out to others and drawing on the wisdom of those around me. When waves of grief have knocked me off my feet, or as I struggle to care for and support the generations above and behind me, or I faced the months and months and months of a painful divorce, I looked to those who could share what they had learned with me. Sometimes that has been in person, one-on-one, or in groups. Sometimes that has taken the form of stories, music, poetry, art. And I collect it all, knowing that these are my immeasurable treasures. These are, as the band Flogging Molly says, what keeps me from sinking the boat I built to keep afloat. I recently attended a gathering at the Carter Center of faith leaders who were there to discuss the need for an interfaith coalition in our area that would be focused on mental health. It was an inspiring gathering overall, but one thing that I heard that day really stuck with me. A woman who had been working with young adults on resilience skills said that a young man who was quite excited to recognize some new options open to him thanked her and said, "I couldn't use a tool I didn't know I had." I couldn't use a tool I didn't know I had. And so I will share with you a tool that I use every morning when I wake up. I do this at the best of times and the worst of times, and if I can't sleep well, I will do this in the wee hours and not wait until my regular rising time. It is a 4-part meditation/gratitude practice that I've kind of stitched together from things I have learned along the way. If you like, you can do this with me right now too. Feel free to close your eyes if you're comfortable, if you choose. First, check in with your body. How are you feeling right now? Relax into any place that needs it. Second, think about your day yesterday. What made it unique and unrepeatable? What did you hear, see, do, read, or learn for the very first time? Third, how did you make connections with others yesterday? Was that in person? Or did you find that others influenced your life in a helpful way, even though you might not ever meet them in person? Were you helpful to others? People? Animals? And last, what is something that you are grateful for today? Right now? What do you give thanks for this very minute? You can come back to the room and open your eyes. That was the short version. But I find that this practice contains all the things for me. Every tool, every lesson, every way to survive that fills me with joy. Whatever you gather to get through your days, whatever tools you find or create that help you build your boat and light your way, I encourage you to remember to share them with others. This is how we truly grow and nurture a beloved community that glows with the spark of every precious soul. Blessed be.
Please rise in body or in spirit. Let's carry some light around. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Now comes the sacred season, the wintry season of hope against all odds, when we share stories of human survival, both ancient and new. And we will need these stories to alight on our hearts, to chart our path out of our own depths, to be like the menorah, like the North Star the shepherds followed, like the Kinara, the Moravian star, the lamps we carry to light the way forward for each other. Take these lights with you and keep them close when you need them most. May these stories of resilience and hope bless you and light your way forward.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. One more time. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Go in peace, everybody.